Hello and welcome to D-Train and the Modern Day Warriors Football Talk, this year's mock draft 2023. How are you this morning on draft day, Warrior?
Highly slept last night. It, it's hard for me not to be excited for a draft that's at 7 tonight, or Central Timing. But it's gonna be an exciting event.
I agree. I love drafts. I love any kind of draft. I watched the WNBA draft it wasn't even 2 weeks ago. I think it's about a week and a half. Just because I like watching drafts, and I don't know anything about college women's basketball
No.
to know who
Well,
should be taking who, but I'll watch it just because it's a stupid draft.
yes, you know who any of them are, but or the teams, but you'll watch it.
I'll watch it just because it's a draft. Yep, that's it. The NFL, which I love, is the first draft. It's the passion. It's the one that comes back and says, "This is why you like drafts." So, doing mock drafts,
Yeah,
this will be about my 10th mock draft so far for this year's draft. Um, but it's going to be the first one that's published out there. So I hope I don't make any mistakes.
oh, I
Maybe we'll
will.
grade it afterwards. We'll see.
All right.
Well, for the sake of this draft, we have decided there's going to be no trades, so we can't actively trade. Means we're going to have to pick where they're at. And for tonight's draft, I'm going to say that that's going to be way off because I think we're going to see at least four, maybe five first round draft trades tonight. Um, whether it's people just sliding back a little bit, I don't think it'll be any major players on the move that'll affect the first round. Um, but I think there'll be some maneuvering. We know for a fact that 2, 3, 9, and 11 have all been actively shopping their picks. So I think we'll see different jumps here and there as the night goes along. We're not doing that here. Also, for this draft, we've decided you're going to draft all the odds because it's where the Packers landed. And even after the Jets trade, they're still in the odds. And I'm going to draft all the evens because that's where the Texans land, which is my team. So, without further ado, that puts us at pick number one, which would be an odd number. So that means you get the honor of picking for the Carolina Panthers.
Oh boy, yeah, that's me. Well, with the first pick in the draft, I this isn't going to be a surprise, but I think they're going to go Bryce Young. I think that's I think it's been settled um that weeks ago. So I can't believe they're going that over CJ Stroud, but apparently it's going to be Bryce Young.
All right. I don't think it surprises anybody. I think everybody's had Bryce Young rated as the top quarterback from the beginning. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of question marks about his size. That's the
Yeah,
thing that everybody wants to question. Uh, it is what it is. It's not going to change, but he was able to work with it at Alabama, where he played against big competition in the SEC, and he was successful. So I think as an NFL GM, you have to think that that's going to work into as he moves forward into the NFL. All right. So to pick number two, my Texans. And I've been saying it since the draft came out. I was actually happier with number two than number one because I think there's pressure at number one to take the quarterback. And at number two, I don't think that pressure's quite as felt. And I am not going to take the quarterback. I'm going to take the best player in this draft and the position of need for my Texans desperately. Um, I'm going to take Will Anderson Jr.
I concur.
I don't know that that's what's going to happen tonight. I don't know that we're going to stay at number two. I think there's a strong possibility we're trading down. But I don't know that the dance partners are going to give us what we want either. So if we're forced to stay there and pick, which is what we're doing in this mock, we're being forced to stay where we are and pick. I think they take the best player on the board and the best player in the draft and roll the dice with him. Yes, we need a quarterback, but I think it's a reach for any of the quarterbacks right here, and that's the reason we're going to pass for now. Could also be the reason we trade up later from 12 to something else to get one of the quarterbacks as they start to slide. I think that's definitely a possibility anyway. All
All
right.
right.
So that gets us to number 3, which is another hot spot for a trade out. The Cardinals definitely are shopping that pick to anybody that wants to come up and get a quarterback. Because let's face it, the Cardinals just need players. So the more picks they can accumulate, the better.
Right.
But
But since
for the
yeah,
sake of this draft, you don't get to move around. You've got to pick for them. Who are the Cardinals taking at number 3?
I think this is a very heavy pick, but I have them going Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. I think
I
it's
like the pick.
I think it's a position that they desperately need.
Go ahead.
Um, they've lost a lot on their defensive line. Um, so this is definitely going to. I mean, you're drafting Jalen Carter in a top 5 pick to be a starting defensive tackle. I mean, that's why you're drafting him this early, or or to be or about to be paying him top 5 money anyway on a rookie deal. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Carter to be good because he's not going to be on a good defense. So there's going to be a lot of pressure for him to outshine the rest of his teammates. So I look forward to seeing what Jalen Carter can do with this Cardinals defense. If he does indeed go there and the Cardinals don't trade down, obviously.
Yeah, I think you're in a no-win situation here because I do think the Cardinals are trading out, and the fact that I screwed things up and took Will Anderson Jr. makes it even harder. Because frankly, if the Cardinals are forced to pick at number 3, they're probably taking Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah,
But for the sake of this mock draft, he's not available, so
no
you had to
trades.
do what
Yeah,
you had to do. So it's interesting. You go with the defensive tackle instead of the edge rusher. I might have gone Tyree Wilson for the Cardinals if the draft fell this way and they could not trade, which is what we said. Um, yeah, I might have gone Tyree, but I like the Jalen Carter pick. I personally think Carter's probably going 5 to Seattle tonight when it shakes out, but we'll see. We'll see how it
you'll see
shakes
that.
out.
Yeah,
So I'm up again with the Indianapolis Colts, and for some reason my slides for each team are not working. So I'm gonna have to do this off memory until I get them working. I keep rebooting while you're talking and it's not working. But if the draft fell this way, I think the Colts would eagerly run up to the podium with the pick. I think there's a chance the Colts trade up to number 2 to get this guy anyway. I know the Texans and Colts have been talking about a possible trade for the second pick, just so the Colts can get up there to get this guy. In this draft, he fell down to him anyway. It's C.J. Stroud, the quarterback from Ohio State.
yeah. I definitely feel very confident that I think there is a good chance that the Colts will trade up to get him, but I definitely think that's the team that Stroud's going to. Yeah,
If it's not Stroud, it's going to be Will Levis, and if it's not Stroud, I think it's only because they can't trade up, and Stroud is already gone. But I think quarterback is no doubt where I see the Indianapolis Colts going.
oh, it's going to get really interesting after the first pick, isn't it?
It could. I mean, 2, 3, and 4 have all been rumored to either wanting to trade up or trade down.
Yeah,
So yeah, it could shake up fast. And honestly, if we got to number 5 and Anthony Richardson and Will Levis are still available, there's a possibility somebody's trading up to 5 as well. Yeah, there could be a ton of
maybe.
trades. Or this could be one of those drafts where none of the trades happen and guys just slide to the position they're supposed to slide to. So we're back to the odds. You got Seattle Seahawks here for the number 5 pick. Who do
I
you
do.
like?
All right. Well, I think this is kind of a contingency plan for the Seahawks if their first guy isn't available. I have them going Tyree Wilson, edge out of Texas Tech.
the other edge rusher. Makes sense with both Carter and Anderson gone. I think
Yeah,
Seattle's sitting there in a nice spot to get one of the top three defenders. That's why I don't think they'll try to trade up. But if it got to this point, like we've got in this draft, where Anderson and Carter are gone, they either eagerly jump on Wilson or they say, we could do one of the corners also, and they could trade back and let somebody come up and get the quarterback. But I wouldn't want to trade too much past 7 or 8 because then I don't think you're going to get one of the quarterbacks or Wilson to slide much past 7 or 8. So I like the pick. With us
I
not
do.
trading, I like the pick a lot. All right. Whoops, I went up too high. There we go. I wanted to shift that a little bit so we can see who's coming up. Next up, number 6, the Detroit Lions. Love me some Lions. I personally think this is the team that should be the front runner for the North right now, as we speak, as of today. I think the Vikings are on the decline. I think the Packers are on the rebuild. I think the Lions are the ones going in the right direction. So as of speaking today, I like them in this division, and they're sitting with a number 6 pick and an 18 pick later, which is really interesting. Because of the run on the defensive line, though, I think they've got to go to a different need, which is secondary. And although they've addressed that a lot in free agency, they've done it with some older players. So going out and getting a young quarterback, especially when they traded Okuda away, I think is important here. I personally have Devin Weatherspoon rated as the top quarterback in the draft. I know on this little page they've got Gonzalez higher, and I like Gonzalez. I wouldn't care if they took either. I just happen to like Witherspoon a little bit better. So I am taking Devin Witherspoon, the quarterback out of Illinois, for the Detroit Lions. Maybe.
Oh, interesting. I
If the
100% agree with that. Actually, I think that's a very
There it
interesting
goes.
pick for them.
I think it's a
I
little
think
bit high for Witherspoon, but you took
I
away
mean
Carter, Anderson, and Wilson, and I've got nothing left to pick from on the line at number 6. I'm okay with reaching for Witherspoon here.
I'm not. I don't think that's an outlandish reach, though. I mean, I could definitely see Witherspoon. Like he is the most highly rated defense back in this draft. I could see him going top 10. I really could.
I can see him going
Um.
top 10. I think it's 8, 9, 10 area. I don't think he goes. I actually like him to Chicago at number 9 because he's an Illinois boy, um, and I think they need corner as well. But with the way the draft has fallen in this mock, I'm fine with going and reaching for him and getting him here at number 6.
All right.
So you are up, sir. Number 7, them
Oh,
Raiders. So
oh boy,
if you're picking for the Raiders, all you got to do is go look at the 40 times at the combine. Whoever was the fastest, that's who they're taking, regardless of
that
who
was
won.
the old regime with Gruden and Mayock.
No, that was not Gruden and Mayock. That was before Gruden and Mayock.
All right.
That
So,
was very much that was very much Al Davis.
oh my goodness. All righty. So, because Devin Witherspoon got drafted ahead, I have I I in fact have now the Raiders taking Christian Gonzalez, the DB out of Oregon.
Wow. You think the Raiders pass on the quarterbacks? That's interesting because I would say if they've got a shot at Richardson and Levis, I think there's a good shot they take one of them. I know they signed Garoppolo, but they've got to look for the future. They don't have a future quarterback.
Well,
I think Garoppolo becomes a bridge to either Richardson or Levis
I
here.
I originally had well you made it and me had to change it on the fly because I originally had the Raiders taking Witherspoon, but then you took Witherspoon ahead, so I'm like, fuck.
Well, but you also got to sit there and think who's sliding. It's the
Right,
quarterback.
right.
So, and that's a position of need for them. And unfortunately, now you're putting me in a weird spot because you didn't take a quarterback. I'm sitting here with the Falcons going, maybe I have to now. Although I
Yeah.
think they're happy with rolling the dice with Ritter this year. Both the corners are off the board. Both the edge rushers are off the board. I don't think it's time to reach for another edge just yet. Offensive tackle makes a little bit of sense. Man. But yeah, with the way this draft board is fell, I guess I've got to clean up the mess a little bit here. I guess the Falcons will go ahead and address quarterback and look for the quarterback in the future. And I'm going to say they take Will Levis, the quarterback from Kentucky.
All right.
I'm not crazy about Levis going over Richardson. I think Richardson's more athletic, but I think Levis is the better polished quarterback in this draft. So there we
Possibly.
go. They're down to number 9 in Chicago. Chicago.
Chicago. All right. With Chicago will undoubtedly ruin this guy because it's Chicago. I have with the Chicago Bears taking at number 9. I have them taking Peter Skoronsky, the guard out of Northwestern.
Yeah, the top
Which that's
lineman
a
in the draft.
homeboy because Northwestern's in the Chicago area.
Yeah, I'm not against that at all because I honestly think he can play 4 offensive lineman positions. I think he can play both tackles or both guards, so he could plug in anywhere. I think the only thing he can't do is center, in my opinion.
I
But
think there's a
I,
yeah.
when I go for a pure tackle, if I'm the Chicago Bears and go get Paris Johnson Jr., maybe I would, but I like Skoronsky. I definitely think 9 is a good place for him. I think it's the reason the Bears were comfortable trading down to 9 when they had the number 1 pick, is they knew they would probably get their choice of offensive linemen at that pick. So they did. Number 9, they get the top lineman taken so far, Peter Skoronsky. I like it. All right, the Eagles. The Eagles. The Eagles. Man, the things I would like to do here versus what I'm going to do are so different.
Just
So
do what
different.
Howie Roseman would do. Pick a receiver.
You know, Smith Enigma. I like JSN a lot. So that would be something I would actually think about if I was him. Even with what he has, I think it would make some sense. The other thing, I like Bijan Robinson. And we know that, at least on the surface, Philly's not happy with their running backs as is right now. We've heard them linked to both Ezekiel Elliott and possibly even trading for Derrick Henry. So the idea that the top running back could go this high, I think, is a stretch, but it's one that I guess I wouldn't be floored by. But with the way it's fell, I think I'm going to go offensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles and go ahead and get Paris Johnson Jr., tackle out of Ohio State.
I can see that. Yeah.
This is another pick that I think is up for trade. Somebody wants to come up and get a player at this point. I think the Eagles' phones would be wide open and they would listen to it. So, but since we're not trading, I'm going to take the best offensive tackle on the board, pure tackle, Paris Johnson. Um, for me, Skoronsky and Johnson are a coin flip from each other. I like them both. I, with the other one going, I think that forces the Eagles to go ahead and take Johnson in this case. So you're now up with the Tennessee Titans.
All righty. Well,
Excuse me.
with the 11th pick, I have the Tennessee Titans going Quentin Johnston, receiver out of TCU.
Whoa. You're not even going with the best receiver. You are reaching big time. My personal board, I have Quentin Johnson rated as the 5th best wide receiver. You've got him as the
Wow.
top one coming off here today.
I think there's a strong chance that the Titans will go. Like, are they gonna go build over speed or like? I mean, Quentin Johnston's I think has a more muscular build than say JSN does, but I think I think there's a possibility that it could happen.
Well, you've put me in a bad situation. I was so hoping you would take Anthony Richardson with the Titans, just to get him off the board. My personal grade on Anthony Richardson is a second round talent. So the fact that the Texans would be looking at him at number 12 scares the shit out of me because I think they'd probably take him, even though I don't want them to at all. At all. Um,
Oh,
yeah. You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I've said all along, if he's sitting there at number 12, we've got to take him. I think he's the only game changing wide receiver in this draft, and the only one I would spend a first round pick on. The rest of the receivers I have rated as second round talent, and I would wait until the second round to take them. So I'm taking Jackson Smith Nigma from Ohio State with the number 12 pick for the Houston Texans.
all right,
I
okay.
still think we pick up a quarterback, but it'll probably be in the second round, maybe even third. Um, I think they're. I don't think they love the idea of Keenum or Mills starting. I think there's a good chance we trade back from two, and we do end up taking one of the quarterbacks. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out tonight. But man, if I got to number 12 and JSN is still on the board, oh, I'm gonna be wanting him really bad for Houston. I think
Right,
he's
right.
think he's the next Andre Johnson for us. I do. I think he could be that guy.
Wow. Well, he might be. He might be.
So number 13, your Packers, your beloved Packers. I'll
I'm
tell
very
you,
excited with this pick.
you better
I mean,
take
he might be a little bit of a reach,
if you
but
don't want to see the Patriots, you don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl again. God dang it! I stop, you don't talk. I talk, you talk over me. Make a choice.
oh.
Go.
Anyway, the Packers. I have him going Nolan Smith, edge rusher out of Georgia.
Oh, that's a hope. That's a hope. You
I
just
would be
like
really
Georgia
excited
boys.
about it. What's that?
Yeah, him and Quay Walker back together again, right?
Yep, yep. And Devontae
Yeah.
Wyatt.
Yeah, and they all get to get kicked out of games now, right?
Oh my God. Hey, Devontae Wyatt never got kicked out of a game. Okay.
No, but with the negative influence of Nolan Smith and Quay Walker, maybe he'll get there.
Oh my God, you are pathetic.
What? Tell me I'm saying something that's not true. All right. Well, I'm a little bit shocked. I can't find the guy. What there he is. All right, with the Patriots. This is just a Belichick guy, and I've heard his name all over him. So we're gonna go ahead and take him. Lucas Van Ness, the edge rusher out of Iowa. I'm gonna take with the Patriots. And I really think that's who the Packers are looking at more so than Nolan Smith, by the way.
Oh,
I think that's why the Packers insisted on the Rodgers deal that they flipped to the first rounders. They wanted it in front of the Patriots because they knew that was the only chance they had at Van Ness. So we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see how it plays tonight. I will let you go on with the Jets.
Yeah, screwed me with the Jets here. Anyway, for
Oh, I
for
don't
my
think so. I think exactly what the Jets need is out there.
I now will have the Jets going after Brian Branch, Scipia out of Alabama. This is originally where I had him going.
Maybe it's but you had him going to the Packers.
Yeah, yeah. Before, but
I
I
don't think there's
originally
any.
had him going
I
in
don't
this
think there's
spot.
any chance in hell. I understand that. I just explained that. Now we're moving on. I don't think there's any chance in hell. You just traded for Aaron Rodgers. You have no offensive tackles, and the number 3 offensive tackle still on the board, and you don't take him. Yeah, I don't think so. The Jets are going offensive line. It's going to be Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright, one of the two. Mark my words on that pick tonight. That one I will almost guarantee. All right. Unless they trade for Bakhtiari, which I still think is a possibility. All right, number 16. It's me. It is the Washington Commanders. They're going to be jumping for joy if he actually falls this far. I think they're one of the teams that are going to try to trade up to get him. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida, with the Commanders, which I think is a
All right.
good possibility tonight. I don't think it's at number 16, though. I think they're the team that trades up to go get him. Excuse me.
All right. I think it's an
You got
interesting pick.
Steelers.
All right, for the Steelers, for the Steeler Nation, with the 17th pick, I had the Steelers going Joey Porter Jr.
I'm locked up.
I know. Did
You
did
can
did
hear
did,
me?
did you hear me? I can hear
Yeah,
you.
you're going Joey Porter Jr.,
Yeah.
but my computer's locked up. I can't make the pick.
Uh-oh. Like I can't make the pick for you.
Maybe I did. There we go. Joey Porter Jr. to the Steelers. I love that pick. I'm almost hoping that pick happens tonight. I'm almost I'm almost as passionate about that pick as any pick tonight. I think Joey Porter Jr. Playing for his dad's team makes so much sense, and they need a quarterback, so he plays a position of need for them. I love that pick. I say lock it in, rock and roll. Here we go. That's the feel good pick of the night. All right, Detroit Lions back on the clock. We went ahead and got a cornerback earlier, which we thought we were going defensive line. So now we got to double back and we got to get a defensive line. And a couple of fell kind of nice for us here. Um, but I love the fact that Miles Murphy is still on the board. He is more of that power edge rusher to complement TJ Watt. Or not TJ Watt. I'm back on the Steelers. Sorry. To complement the Michigan kid, Hutchinson. Um, so yeah, he would play opposite side of Hutchinson. I love it. We're going Miles Murphy out of Clemson to the Detroit Lions, and I think they would be jumping for joy if they had left this draft with Miles Murphy
Yeah.
and Devin Witherspoon. Man, again,
I'd
Detroit
be
Lions killing the draft if they pull that off.
I'd be so pissed.
As a Packer fan, you should be because
Yeah,
they're
I'd be
starting to do
pissed.
things a lot the right way. The good news is Jared Goff is still the quarterback, so you're okay.
Well, he just proved he didn't have to do much to beat us, so.
That's true. That's true. All right, Buccaneers. Buccaneer Nation, number 19. You're on the board.
All right. With the 19th pick, right? The Buccaneers will take Broderick Jones, offensive tackle,
Wow,
Georgia.
going to go offensive lineman over running back here. Yeah. Well, if he slides this far, I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. They just re-signed Tristan Wirfs to play that left tackle, so I think Broderick would probably not be the pick. I think they'd go Darnell Wright to get the right tackle because I think Darnell Wright might be the best tackle in this draft. Probably is he's going to play on that right side, which would work in Tampa Bay, but I like Broderick Jones. I don't know if he can shift to the other side, but maybe. Who's to say he can't, right? All right, Seattle back on the clock. We got our. You took the edge rusher earlier, right? Wilson?
Yeah,
Is that
Tyree
what you got?
Wilson.
So Seattle back up. They got their edge rusher at number 5. Man, I would love to pull the trigger on this pick. You know what? I'm going to because I actually like him in that Detroit or in that Seattle system. He's undersized for a defensive tackle, but he provides some real energy up the middle. If he was 2 inches taller and 20 pounds heavier, they would be comparing him to Aaron Donald. But because he's a little bit underweight, a little bit undersized, that's not happening. I'm taking Kalaje Cansey, the defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. A lot of upside with this kid, and I would love to see him in that Seattle defense. I think he could do a lot of good things.
Interesting.
All right, you are up.
All right. With the Chargers, I think a conflicting one because I don't know if he might go here. I'm having them take Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame.
The tight ends, yeah. It's funny. I still say Michael's the only first round tight end I have. That's not to say I don't like some of the other tight ends. I just like them better in the second round. Um,
Yeah,
Mayer's an interesting pick. This is where another trade could happen tonight. That if Robinson fell this far, and in our mock he has, if he's still there, if the Chargers got a trade worked out with somebody to get rid of Eckler, and they could take Robinson right here, I think they do it and pick up the other picks for Eckler. But we'll see. That would have to come with, yeah, we've got something worked out. We're ready to move on from Eckler. But otherwise, yeah, Michael Mayer is a good pick. I like him. So
Oh,
no
would you
issues with
say
that at
that?
all.
Oh, would you say that Bijan Roberts is more of a Jerry Jones type of guy?
A Jerry Jones type of guy?
Yeah, like a somebody that
I
Jerry
didn't.
Jones would bend over backwards to draft.
No, I don't think so. I've never known him to bend over backwards to draft anybody other than offensive linemen. But no, I don't think so.
Okay, alrighty.
All right,
The
going back
Ravens.
to the Ravens. So, what is the status of Lamar Jackson today? Because that determines a lot of what's going to happen here. Um, I know he wants more receivers. He wants more weapons, and I've said all along I've got one first round receiver on my mind for tonight's draft, and that's JSN. But the Ravens, if they're trying to make Lamar happy, that might be a position they go to. And the corners have kind of had a run. I mean, Banks is still out there, and Ringo's still out there. I like them. I still think they need pass rushing. Man, yeah, this is a tough one for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
What I like and what I think they'll do are definitely not matching up. What I like and what I think they're going to do, yeah, are just not matching up.
Yeah, I
You know what? I like him. I'm going to sing the praises of him all night long tonight until he is picked. He's a right tackle, not a left tackle, but he could be a perennial Pro Bowl right tackle for the next 10 years. So the Ravens have always drafted smart, not reached for anything most of the time. I'm going Darnell Wright, the big offensive right tackle out of Tennessee. Protect Lamar instead of giving him a weapon.
right.
I don't think they'll do that because I think they're going to try to appease him. He wants weapons. They'll probably look at Jordan Addison at this position, or even a Zay Flowers out of Boston College. I like Zay Flowers a lot. Out of the second round receivers, I think for me, he's my top. Um, but yeah, Darnell Wright being there just made it too hard to pass it up. I don't
I,
think
I
offensive
feel
line's
like
necessarily need for Baltimore, but you can always get better on the line, right?
I feel like the Ravens are kind of digging their own. I mean, and I feel like the Ravens are kind of digging their own grave anyway with this whole Lamar Jackson situation. Because yeah, you're trying to do all this, give him weapons, you gave him OBJ. Now you're gonna try to give him well, you gave him a guard. They might go receiver. They're doing a whole lot of give him what he wants. I I just feel that's gonna put him in a major hole. Like, well, like if we give you this major contract, you better give us, what, at least a AFC Championship game or even
Right.
a Super Bowl. So I feel like the expectations are going to be too high for him. Anyway, for number
All right.
23, right?
Yep, Vikings.
Yep,
Your
I got the
division.
Vikings. Oh dear
Your
God, I will draft
favorites.
some crap. All righty, I have them taking Jordan Addison, receiver at a USC. It, I think
Makes
it's a bit of a
sense.
reach, but I think it's a interesting possibility. Interesting possibility to replace that Adam Thielen, as in like a secondary receiver.
Right, right. Which I think there's definitely a need for that. I think receivers a possibility with the Vikings, especially the way this draft has fallen. I think quarterback's probably the other place I would have looked, with Banks and Ringo both being available. Secondary is definitely something I would have searched for them. All right. So we are to 24 and the Jacksonville Jaguars, my division rivals. Uh, I, they desperately need quarterback. I think that's definitely where they're going here with the way this has fell. I like Ringo probably more than I like Banks, but I have a better grade on Banks than I do on Ringo. So I'm going to stick with grading, stick with the draft board the way it has fallen. And with 24, I'm going to go Deontay Banks, quarterback out of Maryland.
All right, I can see that. Yeah.
Excuse me.
All righty,
All
with
right,
the
25.
20 yeah 25th pick, I have the New York Giants selecting Brian Brees, edge rusher, well, defensive tackle out of Clemson.
Yeah, not edge rusher. Breesy
Or yeah,
is a he's a
defensive
plug.
tackle.
He gets in there. He gets in there and he plugs holes. I like Breesy a lot. Um, I probably like him a little higher than this actually. So the fact that he's still there makes a lot of sense for the Giants to say, you know what, it works. It's what we need. Let's go get him. I got no issues with that at all. Can't say bad or good about it. All right, dim boys, dim frickin' boys. No, I'm not talking about the Briscoe brothers. I'm talking about them Cowboys. Uh, top need for me with the Cowboys, I think they've got to replace that tight end. They
Yeah.
lost Schultz. They need a replacement there. I know they've been rumored to be like after every wide receiver known to man, but I think they brought in Cooks to go with CeeDee Lamb. I think they're okay there. Defense is solid. Maybe a quarterback makes some sense. If they really like Ringo or Cam Smith, maybe that's a direction they go. But a lot of people have Dalton Kincaid as the top tight end on their boards. I don't know if the Cowboys are one of those, but he fits the offense. He fits what they're trying to do. So Dalton Kincaid out of Utah is where I'm going to go for the Cowboys.
All right.
All right, you are up, sir.
Who's at number 11 on the prospects? I can't read that name.
At number 11.
Yeah.
We don't have a number 11 on the prospects.
Oh.
Number 30, 31?
Oh, 31. Sorry.
The fifth name down?
Yeah, fifth name down.
That's the Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Offensive line.
Interesting. So I think so for the Bills, I think this is maybe it could be a reach, but I have them going B.J. Robinson.
For the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah. Well, I had to alternate my picks here, or
You mean
have
Bijan
some
Robinson? Is
contingent.
that who you're trying to say?
Yeah, BJ Bijan Robinson. I just like to say BJ for short.
You know, man, I'm not gonna say I hate that pick because it actually scares the shit out of me to put Robinson behind Allen.
Yeah.
That gives him a new
So
weapon
that yeah.
he hasn't had. Yeah, like I say, I'm not gonna say I hate that pick. I may love that pick. If it actually happens tonight. I think Robinson goes probably higher than what we've taken him. I think there's a good chance he goes in the late teens, early 20s somewhere, and maybe a team moves for him. Maybe the Bills move for him. I don't know. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. Didn't they sign a running back?
They signed Damian Harris from the Patriots.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
So nothing special.
yeah, no, and they lost Singletary. So, man, I hate to say it, I actually love that pick because the Bills are a good team. You give another weapon to Josh Allen that maybe stabilizes that running game a little bit. We all know running backs have their best years the first three. So they got the kid from Michigan State still, don't they? That they drafted last year. It was
Oh
hurt
yeah,
off
James
Hurt
Cook.
Cup. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's from Georgia.
I mean from Georgia. Sorry, they still got him though, right?
Yeah, still got him on his rookie deal.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I say, I think Robinson goes higher than what we've got him here, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much about it. We'll move on to the Bengals. The Bengals are bummed. I'll say that because they thought they were going to get one of the two tight ends, either Kincaid or Mayer, and they're not available here. So we're going to address that offensive line and Anton Harrison, the big man from Oklahoma. Probably moving him to right guard, though. Probably not going to play tackle for us. He's going to probably play right guard.
All right, all right.
You got the Saints next.
I do have
Going
the Saints.
the
Well, with the
Saints. They
2029
are
pick,
chatting.
I have what's up? I have I have the Saints picking Isaiah Foskey to help with that edge.
All right. Saints go Foskey. I think it's a big reach on him. I don't like him here, but that's fine. I don't like the Saints either, so so they can reach all they want. All right, I'm up with the Philadelphia Eagles. We addressed the offensive line. I think we got to do something about that defense. And quarterback makes so much sense. So they're probably running to the podium if they like either one of these guys. If I'm looking at my own rankings and going off that, it's a little different than what they have over there. Because I probably would look up Emmanuel Forbes, to be honest. But for the sake of this draft, we said we would stick with that for the most part. So I'm going to go Keely Ringo, quarterback out of Georgia. Send him to Philadelphia.
All right. And with
And then
the
we are to
30
the defending Super Bowl
Bowl
champions.
champion, I have them to help with their receiving core. I had them going Zay Flowers out of Boston College.
I love Zay Flowers. Like I said, he's probably the top of the second round receivers for me. Whoa. It is done with us. It just said, nope, you're done. All right. I'm trying to get to show the whole draft. It won't let me. There
All
we go.
right.
Zay Flowers went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like it makes sense. They need a weapon. Zay, I've got him at the top of the second round. In fact, he's a player I've got kind of targeted for the Texans at the second pick of the second round. Um, if we do go quarterback at some point in the first round. But with this draft, we didn't. So, takeaways. What are your surprises? What are your,
I
I don't
mean,
know, thoughts?
I think it's been a very interesting draft so far. Have you seen well, obviously since we didn't do any trades, that I mean we can't took that aspect out of the draft. So
Yeah.
I think from where we had I think I think there could be a running offensive lineman, like, and that running offensive lineman could start at 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that I think we had what, two offensive linemen going in set 7 or 8 or something like that. So I think that is somewhat accurate,
We
or
didn't have an
would
offensive
be
lineman
most
going so
accurate,
high.
right? So I don't think JSN will fall as far as we had him. I think he'll
12?
12. I think he'll probably be a top 10 pick, but um, I think Quentin Johnston
But
will.
if you're pushing him up, if you're pushing JSN up and you're pushing offensive lineman up, somebody's got to come down. So who did
Right.
we take too high then? The quarterbacks?
Oof. I don't know. Oh, that's really tricky because where did the so where did you have Will Levis going? The Commanders? Or Anthony? Oh, no, you had Anthony
Oh,
Richardson going to the Commanders.
yeah.
So I ca- I can see a quarterback being a dark horse and sliding down a lot further than what experts predicted him to go. But as far
Well,
as
we
who
did
that's
that.
going to,
We had Levis fall to 8. We had Richardson fall to 16.
so we did have somebody fall. Is it? But I mean, is it going to be? But who's it going to be?
Yeah.
That falls beyond that. Um, I think I think for the most part we had some pretty accurate guesses. I don't think we were too like, I think there was only one or two that I think either of us were really far on, but I think the top running back in this class is Bijan Robinson, right? Or Bijan,
Yeah.
however you say his first name.
He's
But I think
it's
he'll
BJ.
be. I think there's a strong chance he'll be a top 20 pick. Um, I but who's he gonna go to? I have no idea. I would. I think my
19, the
pick,
Buccaneers.
the Buccaneers.
Yeah. The
But
Buccaneers at 19 is where it makes the most sense.
yeah, I could. He's gonna go to a team that desperately needs running back help. But yeah, Buccaneers makes a lot of sense. Um, the tight ends, Michael Mayer, I had going to the Chargers. I think that one could be a really solid pick for that value anyway.
I
I
think we had the tight ends slide more than they will. But like I say, if we're moving people up, then we got to move people down, and we're not doing that. And
right. I mean, yeah, we could.
if I think we drafted anything too high, it might be secondary. We went early with Witherspoon going at 6. We turned around and went 7 with Gonzalez. I think there's a good chance only one of those guys go in the top 10. And, then we kept that going with Branch went up at 15, Porter went up at 17. I think there's a good chance one of those guys doesn't make it in the top 20. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I like the way it folded
I do.
out. I'm okay with it. I'm just going to run down the order real quick. So in our draft, we had, and then we'll call it, unless you got something else to add.
No, I'm good.
So at number 1, we had Bryce Young. Number 2, Will Anderson Jr. Number 3, Jalen Carter. Number 4, C.J. Stroud. Number 5, Tyree Wilson. Number 6, Devin Witherspoon. Number 7, Christian Gonzalez. Number 8, Will Levis. Number 9, Peter Skoronsky. Number 10, Paris Johnson. Number 11, Quentin Johnston. Number 12, Jackson Smith Nigba. Number 13, Nolan Smith. Number 14, Lucas Van Ness. Number 15, Brian Branch. Number 16, Anthony Richardson. Number 17, Joey Porter Jr. Number 18, Miles Murphy. Number 19, Broderick Jones. Number 20, Kalijah Cansey. Number 21, Michael Mayer. Number 22, Darnell Wright. Number 23, Jordan Addison. Number 24, Deontay Banks. Number 25, Brian Breesy. Number 26, Dalton Kincaid. 27, Bijan Robinson. 28, Anton Harrison. 29, Isaiah Foskey, sorry. Number 30, Kylie Ringo. And number 31, Zay Flowers. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm against any of that. I think it's all possible. But we'll see how it plays out tonight. I'm excited for the first round of the draft. Maybe even more excited for the second and thirds tomorrow night. And we got 2 drafts tomorrow night. Talk about day of my life. We got NFL draft and WWE draft on the same night.
Yeah.
Going on at the same time. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, this has been a fun mock draft. It'll be fun to come back and grade it maybe afterwards and see how close we really were. But for the Modern Day Warrior, I am the D Train. This has been Football Talk. We are out of here. Peace.